Hello, this is the tradesight stocks and futures market preview and U.S. economic data roadmap for the week beginning Monday, October 7th, 2013, ending in Friday the 11th, 2013. Here's dollar index. Here's the S&P 500 daily chart. You can see the uptrend line we were following for the early half of the year. We've now fallen completely away from that, flattening out here a bit in the market. The 13 sell signal is in place still. We've been drifting down ever since then. And obviously, a lot of this is being pushed by the shutdown of the federal government and market holding up on the belief that this will get resolved before we get to the debt limit on top of it. But it's looking like maybe, I don't know, they may take this up to the end. Maybe they'll fix it over the weekend. No way of knowing. So understand that whenever they do fix this, that's going to have an impact on the market. And of course, if they don't and we get past the next 14 days or so and into the debt limit without a resolution, there's going to be some real problems. So let's not even hope that that is where we go. Let's look at some of the other indices. NDX still holding up near the highs. Nasdaq side's a little bit stronger than the broad market. Here's the SOX index. This is the semiconductors. Looks like it's going to break out. Nice little base, high range base after a cup, kind of cup and handle type of thing. Now the biotech index also holding near highs. So market's holding up still. The broad market taking a little bit of a hit in general, thinking things might still work out, but to this point so far, we haven't seen any signs of anybody blinking. So we'll see what happens. Here's Apple, just so you know, been hanging out mid-range from the last 2 months action. Google, not much different, been in the same range here for about 4 or 5 months. Waiting to give a reason to break out and push to that 1,000 level. Here's a look at Amazon, which had swept new highs on Thursday. Tesla got a little kick this week from one of their cars lighting on fire, but seems to be holding up fine from it. Netflix nears the high. So that's, a lot of the key stocks that we like to trade. You'll notice the 13 sell signal on Netflix this week so far has topped out the stock on the daily chart. Let's look at the action from this week on the futures just to understand what we got. And there's another video up on YouTube about the 5-minute chart of the ES and the Comer tool and how we got the exact buy and sell signals for the high on Tuesday, the high on Wednesday, and the low on Thursday. Didn't get a signal on Monday or Tuesday. Meanwhile, this is the 10-minute charts because it fits better to show you the whole week. Here's where we started last week at, ended last week around 1686. And guess what? We closed out this week at 1685. So for the week, lost 1 point on the S&P or the ES futures contract. Started with a gap down on Monday, drifted back up a little bit. Tuesday, fairly flat opening and ran up. Wednesday, gapped back down. By the way, that filled the gap from Friday right here. Wednesday, gap back down. We've never filled that gap. That gap to Tuesday's close remains. Thursday, flat opening, the biggest range day of the week. Friday, flat and drifted upwards. Total range for the week is only about 25 points, though, which is not very good. And if you had to pick where most of the action was, it's really in about a 10-point range for the entire week. So on the one hand, maybe say thank you that the market's holding up in the middle of this nightmare in Washington. On the other hand, it certainly isn't very good for trading ranges. But we did have a nice week, had some great winners. Made money in the futures, made money in stocks. Nice winner on Friday in particular. Shout out to Rich for his KKD, Krispy Kreme donut call we all were drooling over in the room. Did very well on that. So here's the Nasdaq Futures. Same kind of look as what the S&P did. The markets are completely in sync. It's all basket trading as everybody's just waiting once again to see if Washington can just come together, give a little on both sides, get things resolved, and not make it a governing by crisis nightmare that it seems to be every 6 months or so, which is just absolutely killing the markets year over year. Let's take a look at the action in terms of data that's coming out this week. Monday after the bell, or late in the day, 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour left in the market. Consumer credit, not a big deal. Tuesday, trade balance. This is assuming the federal government can get the numbers out. We couldn't get the unemployment data out in time this week because of the shutdown. So that could still come out this week as well. But assuming all these numbers come out in order, trade balance is a big number. It can cause the market to gap. MBA mortgage index, wholesale inventories, crude inventories, and the FOMC minutes from the last meeting. That's all Wednesday. Thursday, initial continuing jobless claims. That's the weekly number. Import-export prices, natty gas numbers, and Treasury budget in the afternoon. Friday, retail sales, PPI, and business inventories. Assuming again all this is going to make it out with the shutdown. So the focal point there is probably trade balance. I would say that's going to be the biggest gap of the week, more than likely from the news, assuming it comes out. But obviously, if there's a focal point for this week, it is to watch Washington sees what happened. There's nothing else that's going to make a bigger impact on the market than whether or not these bozos get everything worked out. So E-signal charts as usual, brought to you by the power of E-signal. Have a great week. We'll be in the lab trading.